Hey yo, what's good? It's your boy here, and we are back. We got some more Faye content for y'all today, and I'm gonna keep it 100. There's really not much going on in the game at the moment, so as far as gameplay is concerned, not really much to talk about, but there are actually a couple of topics of interest that I think are worthy of discussing. Maybe not each as a separate video. So what I decided to do is just toss them all into a single video, and we can just talk about all of them. So welcome to an episode of the Tacho Variety Show, I guess we could call this, where we just talk about a bunch of current events in Faye and all the going-ons and what have you. So we're going to start over here. Now, of course, every winter we have this happen where one of the characters on the banner is going to end up as the Twitter takeover character. And this year we have Sami. So definitely a fun little choice here. Not a character that I think people are going to be upset about. Me personally, I was pulling for Femortis. I wanted him to be the guy to take over Twitter because I thought that would have been the funniest. But, of course, everyone's best little boy, Sami from Engage, giving out all those shards for free and whatnot. So, Sami made his first message here, barking like a doggy. Arf, arf, arf. Yeah, so basically that's what he commented, but is Sami even a dog? What is Sami? Actually, because he's shaped like a dog, but he's not a dog. He's more like a dragon, I think, or like whatever Lilith was. Like, remember how Lilith from Fates was like a dragon fish? Maybe Sami is like a dragon dog. And bringing up Lilith, he actually is the same color palette as Lilith, isn't he? He's got the light blue and the whites. Maybe Sami is related to Lilith in some way. Who knows? I don't know. This is all like complete speculation. But Sami has gone ahead and taken over the Twitter, and he's already proven to be the best Twitter takeover character. Because look at this. So every year for Christmas, the Twitter takeover person goes ahead and gives out a bunch of first summon tickets that we can use on a bunch of these old Christmas banners to get some freebies in. Always a nice show of decency by Insys after all of their milking of orbs during the rest of the year. At least for Christmas, they always hold it down and give out some nice tickets here. So these are the old Christmas banners that you can get some tickets for, but also we have these brand new tickets that were added for this year. So I wonder, what are these banners going to be? Is it well? Surely one of them is going to be the Winter Edelgard and Dimitri and Claude banner. So I'm assuming one of those tickets are going to be for that. But then we still have two mystery tickets that don't really have an assignment yet. And I'm guessing it's possible. I don't know how possible it is, but it is possible that maybe one of them is for the current Christmas banner and then one of them is for the upcoming Emblem Hero banner. Can you imagine how nuts that would be if we just got tickets for the brand new banners that have all the hot new characters on them? That would be fire. Like that would actually be dope as hell if they decide to do that. So I don't know. It's undetermined what these tickets are exactly going to be for, but I would have to imagine previous winter banners may show up, like the Edelgard banner. Maybe if they want to go further back, they might even do the Robin and Chrom banner. So there's definitely a lot of options for these tickets, but it's always a nice show of respect when they just give out more tickets for free. More free summons, always a good thing. Okay, then we also have this over here. Wow. Okay, I had that open in a lot of tabs for some reason. Okay, so we have the Japanese voice acting thing that's been going on. Now, this has been going on actually from the previous banner too, where a couple of these characters did not have their English voice lines in the game available yet, and they mentioned that they're going to be available at a later date. So, as of right now, they are replaced by the Japanese voices, which also leads to another topic of discussion where a lot of people just want the Japanese voices to be an option in the English version of the game. Which, I mean, is perfectly fine and understandable. Some people prefer to play anime games and just games in general with the Japanese dialogue because maybe they're more of a fan of the Japanese voice acting than the English one. So, yeah, that should be an option. Just overall turn everyone into Japanese voice actors. But for the English-speaking community, if you only want to hear the English voices, well, this is the current reason why this has been going on. So there's actually been a strike from these voice actors due to the concern of the use of AI by these big voice acting companies to actually mimic the voices of the voice actors and use their voices and essentially their likeness to just voice act characters for free. where they're not going to give any sort of compensation to the voice actors that are hardworking and just bringing these characters to life for us. They're going to get shafted here. They're not going to get paid for their own voice, and then characters are going to end up getting voiced by AI. So obviously this is a big problem, and this has led to a strike by a bunch of the voice actors where they don't approve of their voices being used by AI, at least not without compensation. I would imagine this wouldn't be a very hard thing to unionize. Like, they just have to, I guess, treat their voice as their intellectual property, and then they can be paid whenever that voice is used if these companies want to go the route of AI. So it could be, it's a very easy thing to get a solution for. I feel like they could definitely patch things up and figure out a way where everyone wins, and they can go ahead and use the AI as long as the voice actors are paid for their work and so on and so forth. So right now, there's no conclusion in sight. Like, we don't know what's going to happen here, but all they got to do is just sit down and talk about it and just make sure these wonderful voice actors get compensated for their likeness, their voice, their intellectual property. So yeah, there's my little take on all of that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Okay, then of course we have the brand new Farsave skill, Briar Farsave, which, I mean, dude, not even a month ago, Twin Farsave was already the hot new armor skill, and we're already power creeping that for Briar Farsave, which, I mean, it works better with Shield Fighter, which is important because Shield Fighter is currently the best. Is it the best passive in the game, just straight up? I want to say yes, probably. So now we have a Farsave skill that can combo nicely with Shield Fighter, and this guy over here, Archer Scarlet, is asking which of these builds is better. So Aegis and Shield Fighter with Briar Farsave, or Armored Beacon with Wily Fighter and Twin Farsave. I gotta be honest, man, like, Shield Fighter is just untouchable. Particularly for melee, where melee units, the way that you beat Shield Fighter is by having either Potent, so you get the extra hit, or by having Brave Attacking and you need to quad, because only the 4th hit is going to break through Shield Fighter. So there's not really any good melee unit at the moment that has Brave Attacking. There are some that can go ahead and run Potent, but they're very few and far between, and Potent is not even an optimal B skill over stuff like Momentum 4 right now, so you would really only be using it in order to break through Shield Fighter, which some people may not want to do. So Shield Fighter is a very problematic skill, and even in the case of Brave Attacking with 4 hits, in the case of Ice Tribe Fiorm, she's a very fast armored unit, and it's not easy to beat her on the speed check. Like, of course, the brand new speedsters can do it, like Ninja Lucina and, of course, Winter Shez and Brave Bernie. They have a chance to quad her, but if you throw in other supports into effect, like maybe the Frozen support from Pirate Tibarn, or the Ice Tribe Hareed, or one of the Hareeds. I can't remember which seasonal Hareed was on, but he came with the Frozen status. If you combine that with Shield Fighter, and then the enemies can't quad you anymore, like, that's basically it. Shield Fighter armors are invincible. So, of course, Briar Farsave, and whenever we get Briar Near Save, those two skills are going to be definitely the go-to bread and butter for these armor-type units. So there you go for your little armor-type breakdown, I guess. All right, next up we have this. So a year later, Holiday Lessons. Of course, we all are aware. Holiday Lessons was the Three Houses Winter banner that we got last year that completely turned everything topsy-turvy, turned the meta upside down. And ever since that banner, the power creep has been tuned up to 11. So Zeldmon here is asking, have these units aged well, and how good is their fodder? And he brings up all of the winter heroes from last year. Now, obviously, the winter banner this year did not garner as much attention as it did last year, because, like I said, the last year winter banner was an anomaly. It just threw everything upside down. The meta just completely reset at that point, whereas this year, not so much. I feel like the units on this year's banner are just really, really good. Not necessarily completely warping the meta to their favor. So, of course, it's not going to be as impactful. But also, these previous units haven't really aged that well. Winter Edelgard can still take a bunch of actions. She still sets up double lanes of the fire tiles, which is always going to be useful. So I feel like she hasn't really aged that much. The main thing about her, though, is that there's way better Gale Forcers that you can go for instead of her now. So she has kind of fallen off her main niche in Aether Raids, where she was the primary Gale Force unit. Now she's not. As for Winter Claude, he was pretty solid as a merge project, but he's certainly no Marnie, and he's certainly no Winter Ectordeer. So, yeah, he's kind of out. His weapon was cool at the time, too, but if we start getting more of these arcane bows that have the brand new effects where they get, like, plus 14 to all stats, and then pre-charging on the AoE, and then bonus damage on the AoE based on percentages, like, they're just going to have better weapons than Winter Claude's weapon. Winter Dimitri, I feel like even at the time he came out, he was kind of overrated. He did have a brief moment where he was a really nice hit-and tank, or hit-and-sit is what they call it. He just attacks the enemies, and then he puts up Vantage, and then he can clean sweep on the enemy phase. That kind of just died out, especially with how insane some of the units are that can just break through him. Like, for example, Attuned Micaiah just running Hardy Bearing just completely deletes this guy. So he hasn't really aged well in what the meta is looking like, and Vantage tanking has not really aged well in the meta either, because it can't really blow the enemies up in one hit anymore, so Vantage tanking is just not as effective. And then, of course, Winter Yunaka, who was very good at the time, because she had like 90% DR piercing, but problem is, we've entered a meta where all of the DR is non-pierceable now, so Yunaka's DPS has completely fallen off the cliff. She is still a really good hit-and-run unit, though, because, of course, she's got the cavalry-type movement, and then she has Canto Distant, which is really good. So she's not a nobody. She's not, like, completely useless, but not really in the same boat that she was prior. And then Duo Byleth and Byleth are... How do I say that? I mean, they probably aged the best out of all of these, because they are just a far-save unit, or I guess you could run them as a near-save as well, but a lot of their perks come as being a far-saver. So, of course, with the advent of Shield Fighter and things like that, they can certainly be a lot better. You wouldn't be able to run their innate special, though, if you're going for Shield Fighter, because they have a damage-based special. So you'd have to give them Aegis or Pavis or whatever if you want to go for that. But I would say they probably age the best overall, because you can certainly still use them with all the upgraded skills. So, yeah, there we go on a little bit of a comparison between last year and this year's banner. And then the final thing I wanted to talk about, which is the elephant on Hortensia's chest. Not the elephant in the room, but there is something definitely big going on that wasn't previously there. So, Lorenz... How do you say this? Lorenizra? Am I saying that right? Guys, I can't pronounce anything, so y'all already know, but that is not an ordinary name to pronounce. Sorry, Lorenizra, if I'm saying that wrong. But they said... So I haven't played Engage yet, and I have a small question about Hortensia. Yeah, small with enhancements. Alright, after seeing her winter art, is she supposed to be a child? She doesn't look like a full adult, but also has massive cleavage. Why? Her rearmed art didn't have cleavage like that. Yeah, everyone is wondering why this... Well... Actually, no. Nobody is wondering why they did it. It's just that it's kind of odd that they chose to do it, because it's not like Hortensia needed to have that in order to sell. I feel like she would have been able to sell with her normal body proportions anyway. It's not like they needed to up the ante there, so to speak, with the bosoms. But I don't really know. I've heard a lot of people say, oh, she's like 13 or 14 or whatever, so... There's no reason why she should have cleavage that size, but to defend Hortensia, I guess, there are girls that bloom a little bit early, so it's not unthinkable for a girl that age to look like that. However, Hortensia is not one of them girls. As we've already seen in Engage, that is not how she developed, so... Yeah, kind of a strange choice. Well, not really strange. We all know why they did it, but... not an accurate change. Let's put it that way. They didn't have to do that, I think. Because, first of all, I don't think it would have made a difference. Second of all, like, it looks very silly when you compare her to all her other arts, like from Engage and from the Rearmed Hero and all that. So, yeah, that's my little take on this. But it is very funny, though. I got a nice kick out of this when I saw it on the banner. And also, making fun of it with all the jokes. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on Hortensia getting the boob slider upgrade, the boob slider power creep. And this is your boy Tacho signing out. Let me know if you like these variety show videos, if you think I should do one every so often when there's not much going on in the game. And I will catch y'all again on the flip side.